And we're back. That's right. It's me. It's the Cyber Warrior. This is CyberWarriorStudios. And I know you're all here for Security Happy Hour. And we got an amazing guest planned. And we got an amazing show planned. And it's just going to be all out amazing. So before we get into it, y'all know how I do. We got about a 10-second little bumper right here. And we'll be right back. And we're back. See, told you I'd be back that quick. It doesn't take long. Look, anyways, for everybody, I've foregone the beer tonight. We're going with moonshine. It'll be all right. It's a little apple pie. So with us tonight, we got our guest, Andrea Myler. Andrea, how you doing this evening? It'll be all right. It's a little apple pie. So with us tonight, we got our guest, Andrea Myler.
Hello, everyone. How are you all today?
I think everybody's good. What do we got? So we've got William Bailey here, Carrie, Misha, and we got some other people. So as soon as they come in, they'll come in. We got an amazing show planned. How you doing this evening, Andrea? Because you've been signed up for a little while now, so I'm excited to get this talk going.
I am super excited. Definitely very excited, very grateful, just very grateful to be connected with great people at this point in my life.
Yeah, definitely. So, what got you into cybersecurity? Let's start there. What really brought you into it?
It was in 2017. I happened to be working out at Fort Huachuca on a contract. I was doing compliance work for the garrison, and a very, very good friend of mine who became my mentor, who actually introduced me to cybersecurity. And I was on a contract, like I said, at Fort Huachuca, and I didn't like the contract I was on. So I was trying to switch over to a different contract. And this contract happened to be, performing all of the cybersecurity work on the garrison out there during that time. And Javier actually introduced me to cybersecurity, and that's been like 6 years ago. And I started on it and, kind of put it down and continue to pursue a career in HR, and 6 years later, I'm back at it. I'm ready to definitely just commit myself wholeheartedly to it. And, it has not been an easy thing to really, get into, but I'll tell you, to be honest, I found so much excitement when I started really taking it serious, getting serious with what I was doing, my purpose for doing it, why I wanted to do it. And it just became a part of my life. And it just, it's consuming me, because I'm just so interested in it. And I love knowledge. I love learning. And I'm telling you, this stuff keeps me up at night.
And that's the thing, right? You have to, it's one of those, it's all or nothing, right? So
Yes.
it is something you have to be passionate about and really enjoy because of the amount of learning that goes into it. And, the topic for this evening is women in cyber. And as everybody knows, between you and when I'm going to butcher her name again, and I don't want to, so she's going to yell at me. But my guest from 2 weeks ago, and I'm just going to say MT, and she can yell at me later. Miss Tarver, her and everybody else, it amazes me still that I see a lot of issues with women breaking into cyber, because I've had so many fantastic women on this show that I'm just like, I'm missing something, because I'm seeing so many amazing women that are breaking in. You look at people like Alyssa Knight, who started Night TV Plus, and is the queen of API hacking, and Alyssa Miller and MT and yourself and Misha Malcolm that was on my show, and so many other amazing women that I'm like, what am I missing that I'm still seeing? My feed blows up with women breaking into cyber all the time. So what am I missing? Please, somebody enlighten me, because I'm missing something, because I'm seeing so many amazing people doing great things that I don't know what I'm missing.
And I think that's just it. The career profession itself has so much to offer, and so many women, like myself, have doubted ourselves for so long that, like, do I really fit into cyber? Can I really do this at this point in my life? Or should I be willing to risk everything that I know and, go and do something that I don't know? And the answer to that is that, of course, you can. Sure, you can. It doesn't matter if the odds are against you. You can do it. Anybody could do this if they put their mind to it, and just wholeheartedly commit themselves to it. It's absolutely a great profession, and you can get a lot out of it. It just all depends on what you're willing to put in to get that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And our friend here, Mrs. Tarver, said, I think a lot of women still feel intimidated in mostly male spaces. But here's the thing, right? And this is where I kind of try to counteract what a lot of people say, is that when you go back, women have only gotten into the workforce, and especially some of these male dominated fields in recent decades. It hasn't been that long that women have been breaking into some of these other industries. And so for the longest time, they weren't even allowed. And so you have to start somewhere. And I've got, again, like I said, I've seen so many women doing things that even I can't do, but I'm just like, you have to start. So I know a lot of the complaint is representation, right?
Yes.
Whether that's
Yes.
women or minority or whatever. But if you need representation to prove you belong somewhere, you really need to take a look at yourself and look at, do I really want to do this? Am I passionate about this job?
Yes.
Because if there's no representation, be that representation.
Yes.
Be the person that makes a difference and starts there. And so that's where I kind of have this back and forth of like, I know where you're coming from and I get it. But at the same time, to me, if you're saying, oh, I can't do it, it's an excuse, it's male dominated, or it's all whatever, guess what? You're making excuses for not doing something that maybe you're just not that passionate about
Right. I
it. And
agree.
so what do you feel?
For me, I think you're absolutely right. Sometimes people look for an easy way out. Um, but for me, I found that, it challenges me, and,
Hmm.
and that's what I like. I want to be challenged. I want to be challenged in a meaningful way. I want to be able to be another representation
Uh-oh, we lost it. I lost her. She went dark. Where'd it
I
go?
see that.
Wait,
Yeah,
she's
I
coming
think
back.
because I'm so sorry, but
You're good.
you're absolutely right that you need to be that representation to show someone that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. And then the other
Hmm.
point that I want to get out to encourage others is that in being in the position where you're not represented, you be that voice, you be that power, that force to be able to show others that you can do this. Doesn't matter
Hmm.
what background you come from, doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter where you've been. It's all about where you want to go. And there are so
Hmm.
many opportunities in cyber for you. I mean, you can pick and choose what you want to do in here. So
Yeah,
you just have to,
definitely. And it's a
start
fight.
somewhere.
Right. And it's a fight. It is something that is very, very difficult to do because we do have a lot of antiquated hiring practices within the industry still. We're looking at resumes and saying, oh, do you have these certifications or this degree or, you know, 10 years of experience in something that's only been out 5 years? Like we do. We have antiquated hiring practices, but that's where networking comes into play and connecting with hiring managers. Social networking and LinkedIn and Twitter, most especially, I have found have been huge for helping people get jobs because you're learning in public, you're putting your face out there, and you're able to talk to and interact with these people. And I've seen so much from you, Andrea, that's been coming out recently, especially since we connected and things have been, moving where we're actually interacting with each other. That I'm seeing what you're talking about. I'm seeing what you're commenting on and sharing and finding interesting. And so things like that show me who you are as a person and what this field means to you. So when,
Right.
if I were a hiring manager, I'd look at that and the first thing I would do is go to your LinkedIn profile and your recent posts and be like, oh, okay, so she commented on this, she did that, she did this. And hey, she's learning this, got this certification, and she's talking about it, and this is her journey. That is very, very vital in today's industry. It's cybersecurity. It's not like you're going to be a lawyer and you have to have a JD and everything else. It's cybersecurity. We're gonna look you up. Why would we not?
Exactly. Exactly. And you bring up a very good point too, about things that you're doing, in these public spaces. Well, I even look at like my transferable skills, coming from an HR background and knowing some of the difficulties and the challenges that most job seekers are facing in today's workforce. Even
Mhm.
just they'll have a job description that says entry level, but you want these people to have, or these candidates to have, all of these different requirements. Well, how are they going to get those different experiences if you're not willing to open up an opportunity for them? And it
Yeah.
brings me back to the point of making sure that the job description fits the position, and if they don't have everything, you're willing to train.
Oh, for sure. And this goes back to something I think me and you were talking about on LinkedIn earlier this week, where women tend to, and it might have even just been my own post, women tend to, you know, wait until they meet 80 to 95 or 100% of a job description, where most men, not all, but most men will look at it, look at the job. They may look at the requirements. Me personally, I never have. I just look at the job description and go, I like that job. I want to do it and hit apply. But women aren't like that, which,
Right.
to be honest, though, that is a very good thing. It's bad for the job market, but good for a job because it makes them very detail oriented. They want to make
Yes.
sure they think things through differently. This is some of the biggest differences for men and women is the way they think. And I've noticed with my sisters, my wife, my nieces, just all the other women I'm friends with, is just they think more detail oriented. I'm detail oriented because of the military, not
Right.
because that's how I want to be. It was beat into my head. And for most men that's not beat into your head to understand details, we just want to get the job done. Details don't matter. Just let me get it done.
Right. I can agree. I hear you coming from the military with that thought set.
I'm just saying, just get it done. And you can either tell me what to do or how to do it. You can't tell me both. You can't tell me you need this done and then tell me how to do it. No, no, no.
Yeah,
Either tell me how to do it and exactly what you want done, or you tell me you need something done. That's it. There's no in between with me.
I hear you. I hear you. And that's just it. I think a lot of people that are trying to get into this field, they have a lot of good skills. They have
Hmm.
potential. It's just that after so many rejections of, you're not qualified, or all these rejections, that alone can be discouraging to people. And that's my whole thing. I want to be able to encourage people that, you
Right.
know, doesn't matter how many rejections, keep applying. Somebody's
So
going to give you an opportunity.
so let me get your feedback on this because I saw a post. It's probably a couple weeks ago. I completely forgot about it till just now because you're talking about rejection. I seen a post either on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn or something, and it said that men, when it comes to dealing with being rejected in the hiring process, deal with it easier because they're used to it in their lives, with their personal lives, and they're who they're going after as far as significant others. Whereas women don't necessarily get rejected all like that, so it's harder for them to deal with it in the job market. What is your take on that? Because I didn't comment on the post, but I do remember seeing it. So I would love your feedback on what you think about that prospect of it.
I I definitely would be able to say yes. I can understand, coming from a woman's perspective. You know, we're more tied to our emotions. And then, when you're thinking about dealing with a woman and her emotions, that rejection sometimes tend to run deep, as well. A guy may be able to just brush it off and, it doesn't matter. But for us, we tend to take it a little bit more personal. And it just runs deep. I think so, but everyone handles rejections different. For
Mhm.
me, I would definitely say, I'll apply to 300 or 400 jobs. Just and I will.
You
I
know
mean,
what?
just
I'm going for it. We're gonna shoot from the hip, and
yeah,
we're just going.
because what's the least that can happen? Either you're going to tell me yes, you're going to invite me for an interview, or not. I have nothing to lose.
And
So
that's what I think of people, especially women. And again, this is about women in cyber, and you know the difficulties I'm seeing in them wanting to like meet all these requirements. Look, the worst somebody could say is no. And honestly, if you apply for a government job, you're not going to hear back from them from 6 months to a year anyway. So apply to like 20 jobs in the interim and just go with it. But also make sure it fits what you are capable of. And I mean
right,
that from a mindset standpoint, not a technical, like I know how, but a mindset of I know how to learn it. I know I am capable of learning it. Because what I have noticed, especially with, and this is what I'm seeing a lot of the issues in industry right now, everybody wants to work for like Facebooks and the Googles and these huge organizations. Look, I give you credit, go for it. If you're able, go for it. But a lot of your smaller companies and smaller businesses want to bring you on and teach you because they have their
yes,
own way of doing business. So if you're a culture fit, and everybody hates that term, but let's be honest, we all think fucking differently. Every single one of us. So there are just a certain group of people. Andrea, I can tell you right now, I guarantee you there's a group of people you could not stand to be around. It's just the way it is. There are
right,
groups of people you just can't stand to be around. And so it has to be a culture fit of can we work with this person? And if not, then it's not that you're not capable. A lot of times it's just as a person, it's just not a culture fit. There's going to be too much clashing and back and forth, and
mhm,
work isn't going to get done. And that's the big thing. And so I
right,
think if you start working at small businesses as opposed to these large orgs, a lot more people will find work. They're not willing to go to the small business route because they're afraid of losing their job.
right. I agree. I totally agree. And for me, I would definitely say a small business definitely could grow and learn so much, when you go and deal with those small business, or work for a small business.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed a lot of people, if you're looking at startups, even startups will pay you money. They'll pay you good money. And you just got to be willing to understand that it's a startup. It could fail in 5 years, it could not fail in 5 years. But honestly, if the writing's on the wall, you're getting the experience anyway. So you can, how many people have not job hopped in cybersecurity that I have seen in the last 2 years? I've seen people jump from 3 different companies in 2 or 3 years. That's the market.
Right,
It's the way it is
right.
because you're going to go where you're going to find value as a person and financially. You're going to do what's best for you and your family.
Exactly. And that's a vital point you make. I think the post that we were talking about was how we see these people. They have these, they go into a job. They don't have the best track record. They don't stay on a job very long. But you have these people, they're constantly getting different opportunities. And they're just not any opportunities. They're great opportunities.
Hmm.
And but they don't stay, and most
Hmm.
people ask, well, how is it that they're able to keep getting these great job opportunities with their track records? And it's just simple. I think most of these people, and I think we all know people like this,
Hmm.
they go into the job with the mindset that I'm not going to be vested here. I'm just about to do this, and hey, I'm gonna treat it like a 9 to 5 gig, and that's what they do. And they keep moving on and bouncing around, and these hiring managers keep hiring these people. So
Yeah.
it makes you wonder.
So the way I see it, because Mike Miller actually put out about this. A good buddy of mine, he's been on the show, and I've been following
Mhm.
everything he's been doing for a while now. And he put a post out on Twitter and LinkedIn, and he said, "Hey, you've got two people. You've got Jen and Bob. Jen jumps from company to company and always gets a higher pay scale. Bob has been
Mhm.
with X company for 20 years. Him and Jen work the exact same job, have the exact same title. Jen makes $45,000 more a year. Same everything, $45,000 more a year. Who's right? Who's wrong? And it really depends on how you live your life. If you live your life to be loyal and be there, and you respect what the company's given you, and the money doesn't necessarily matter, I put the problem on Bob for not fighting for more money and the company for not valuing him. But for Jen, she's going to go where she's valued. And so she's going to jump from job to job. It does
I'm
not,
sorry, I'm moving away.
oh, you're good. It does not matter. I don't think it matters which way you go, because you're going to go where you feel valued. And if a company's going to like call you out of the clear blue and be like, "Hey, we'll pay you 30 grand more a year." Why not? Why not?
Why not?
If it's a
Exactly.
better job, why not go? But it has to be a better job and a step
Right.
up. People that move laterally for the same money blow my mind, or for more money. Like
Right.
if I'm gonna move for more money, it's got to be a step up, so that I know I'll be getting more and more. It can't be a lateral move.
Right. I agree. And that brings me also to the point about the passion. Um, what's the purpose of doing a job or signing up to be employed with a company if there's passion there and all you're doing is seeking, financial gain? I, I
Yeah,
just, to me, my time is much more valuable than that. And my passion has to be in whatever it is that I'm seeking to accomplish or whatever type of work that I'm going to engage in. I just
right.
can't do it just for the money.
Right. And that's the big thing. And that's where and I think you've actually commented on a lot of the posts that I've made about, it can't be about the money, because then you're never happy no matter what job you work. You're always going to be miserable. You're going to take that shit home with you. You can't. It can't just be about the money. You have to feel valued. You have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to love what you're doing. Because then at least when the job is done, you're happy when you get home. You're not being pissed off at your significant other or your dog or your kids or whatever it is you have. And if you're by yourself, you're not depressed because you're working in a job you don't enjoy. And now you're going to go drink yourself into a stupor because I fucking hate my life. I can't do this. Like,
Right.
if you chase money, that's all that's going to happen. But if you it's okay to go to a new job for a higher rate if it sounds like a better opportunity, not for the money necessarily, but for the job, for what the job requirements are, for what the company stands for what everything is. If the entire package is better, then yes. But you have to
Right.
keep in mind that the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
And that's just it. You're absolutely right that it's not always green on the other side. For me, um, I chose, to leave the HR, field to transition into cybersecurity. And I had a guy to offer me a job the other day, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, I declined it. I'm going to decline the offer. And he's like, why? Why would you decline? I said, because I'm more focused on accomplishing what I'm setting out to accomplish on the cybersecurity side,
Right.
and I'm just not sidetracked, a job offer with, X amount of money when I can wait it out, stay focused on what I'm doing, and get all the knowledge and skills that I need on the cybersecurity side to get, where I want to be in life, and I'm
Right.
just committed, right now to that. So, and the thing about me, and I think a lot of other people, is when you don't have a lot of options, you're more focused on you're accomplishing your goals. Because I could easily go and work in HR and continue to make money in HR, but my heart and my passion is definitely on cybersecurity. So I'm all in on
Yeah.
cybersecurity. I don't care how many rejections I get. I don't care how long it takes. It can take 5 years. I'm going to wait it out.
And so here's the thing with that is there's a lot of newer companies hiring. And so I keep my ear to the ground about new startups and new companies and people doing amazing things. So me and you were going to talk going forward because for you, Mrs. Tarver and my girl Misha and a few others, I got some ideas. We're gonna put something into play, and I may actually link you up with Stacy Champagne also because she does some amazing things as well for women in cyber. But I have unfortunately a senior role that's open right now with the company I work for. Unfortunately, it's a senior role, so it's really hard to get someone just breaking into the industry into a senior consulting role. I'd love to,
Right.
but it's hard. So I'm trying to get them to hire me a junior, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I keep my ear to the ground and I'm trying to get more and more people in. So I'll see what other companies are out there. We'll work on that and I'll see what I can make happen for you guys. But as far as the rejections and things, like honestly, I know what you're talking about because when I retired out of the Army in 2017. Now, prior to retirement, I got an offer, but they were like, "Oh, you don't know when you're getting out, and da 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 da, so we can't hire you." And I'm like, "I can work remotely. I know what you guys do. I can work from Kansas. Like I can do this right here." And you're like, "No, we don't allow
Right.
that." And I'm like, "Well, then that sucks. I can't take it." But then that one job, and I had applied to like 20 jobs. And then I retired in 2017, didn't have nothing. And then I finally
Uh-huh.
got a job. My first job I took for 60 grand a year. 62 actually. So you want to talk about people who chase money? I wasn't one of them. I needed a job. I needed to get my foot in the door. $62,000 a year is what I made in my first job in cybersecurity outside of the Army. And that is with 4 SAN certifications, a CEH, a CPT, and I was soon to be getting my CISP. So, and a degree, and my experience in the military. So, for anybody out there that's like, "Oh, we need to get money, and I got to get paid $100 and some $1,000 a year," $62,000 a year was my first job in cybersecurity as management. So, you kind of just got to get your foot in the door. That first job can literally be a
Right.
6-month to a year job to get your foot in the door. Take whatever fucking salary they offer you just to get your foot in the door. I get it. People want to make 6 figures,
Right.
but guess what? If they offer you 70 grand, you fucking take it. And you're like, "You know what? I'm going to get my experience in. Fuck you." And then you just start applying for other jobs. What are you doing now? I work for this company. I do these responsibilities. And you go about your merry way. You've now got your experience. Quit expecting $150,000 in your first cybersecurity job, unless you're in California. That's the minimum wage there.
Right. Transparent with the story over there. And that's another point too. I think a lot of times, as women, that's another challenge they tend to face, not knowing how to negotiate their worth or, to
Yeah.
ask for more money, when it's time to ask for more money and being able to speak up for yourself while you're at the table, in a professional manner. So,
And that's the thing is there's a difference. I see a lot of issues with when people are like, "Oh, women are assertive." No, 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 no. I got to ask, do you have an attitude or are you assertive? Because there's a difference. My wife thinks she's talking to me normally, and I'm like, "Babe, why do you have an attitude with me?" "I don't." "Oh, no, 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 no. I can hear it in your tone. You have an attitude." So even myself, I swear a lot. I'm a soldier. I'm an airman. I am not the most professional person, but I know how to check my tone and check how I articulate my thoughts when it matters. So you have to be able to do that. And people hate it. People hate professionalism and being able to talk professional. Look, I hate it too, but you got to play the game. If you're not
Yes.
willing to play the game, you got to, I'm sorry, you're going to lose every time. There are times
Right.
you have to play the game and be able to be able to talk and be like, look, hey, I've got this, this, and this. I'm worth this amount of money. You either take it or leave it. And if they're going to leave it, you're out the door. You got a better
Right.
offer. You're out the door. You don't sit there and be like, well, I deserve this. Like that is not how you approach the situation. And unfortunately, I do. I think that sometimes, and I could be wrong, I will full-heartedly admit that I can be wrong, and I have been wrong on many occasions. But I think some people mistake assertiveness for demanding. And there's two different complete concepts there. Demanding
Right.
a raise is wrong, but just kind of being assertive and forceful and being like, hey, look, I do all this for you. I earned my way. That's a whole different can of worms.
Right. And that brings me also, that comes to my mind is, professional relationships and managing the relationships. If you have a good rapport with people, or, how to, just manage the relationship all throughout the course of the life cycle of the employee life cycle, I think that's very important, as far as, asking your boss, for a raise, or, I've been working on XYZ projects. I've been able to meet these milestones. All deliverables, I've been meeting ahead of the deadlines. And, I'm sure if you have a very good working relationship with your manager, they don't have a problem giving you a raise.
Right.
So it's
But
just,
what
a
people
matter
need to
of that.
understand, right, and what people need to understand, though, is some of these companies are still in that, hey, we're only going to give you like a 2 to 5% raise. If you're in one of those companies, get the fuck out. Right now, fucking leave. Plain and simple. Why? Because the cost of living increase within the United States has been over 5% in the past year. And it has been over X
Yeah.
percent. That 2 to 5% is not a cost of living raise. It is not a raise. It is bullshit. Is them trying to save money. Get with a company that when you get a raise and you're like, you know what? I got this certification this year. I've started working on this technology. I learned this technology. I've done this. You know what? I want 20 or 10 grand more a year, or 15 more grand more a year. They're like, all right, cool. My first company, the first company that cared about me that I worked for out of the Army, I started at 90. I took a $38,000 raise. Started at like 90, 95. So it may have even been more than that. And my first raise within the company in the first year was about 20 grand. Because the way they did raises was, we'll put it in early. We're not looking at percentages. We're going to give you what you're worth. Bet. I'm all about it. The only deal was, if it wasn't in the budget, if it didn't get put in early enough and you didn't talk to your boss about it early enough, then it could be declined. It could be, hey, we can't afford this. So you either got a raise or you didn't. There was no, oh, based on your review and da 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 da, we're going to give you 4%. No. It was, I literally went from like 90 some thousand to 115. So to sit here and to do percentages, I will never work for a company that does percentage raises. I will work for a company that pays you what you're worth. And
Yes.
you, as a woman, have to be able to look at market value for your skill set and be like, bet you ain't paying me enough. Look, we're on my annual review. I want a $15,000 raise. Well, why? Well, because I do this for you. I do this for you. I do this for you. I learned this. I learned this. This is what I want. And guess what? If they're not willing to give you what you're worth, and I love it. William Bailey put it here. People will let you walk out, then fucking walk out. There's a door, take the biggest paycheck. Because that's the time that you go out there and you work for your value, not for what a company is willing to pay you. Because you have the experience at that point. But here's the kicker. This is where your public persona, this is where
Right.
you're learning in public, you're failing in public comes into play. People know me. I will publicize everything about Andrea. I've publicized everything I've seen about Misha and everybody else because I want people to see it. Whether or not they do, I don't fucking know because I don't get paid for my show. But I will still do it because it deserves to be seen and my network deserves to see what you do. And guess what? If someone's willing to pay you, great. If they're not willing to pay you your worth, there's the door. I don't have to work for
Exactly.
you. Do you have to work for someone, Andrea? Is it really a necessity that I have to work for this company?
Oh no. You know, that is, and that's why I'm at my house, and I will remain at my house. I will go and volunteer my time before I go and work for a shit company again. I just refuse to, because my
Mhm.
mental space is that much more to me. So I can't. I know my value. I know my worth. I know what I bring to the table, and if I can't get what I'm looking for and be in a very balanced environment, then I'm not going to subject myself to that type of treatment, and be underpaid and overworked. I just refuse to,
Right. And that's why
and
when people look at
it's
it, when I look
okay.
at rules, I refuse to go back to working for an office. I will not go back to office work. See, a lot of people started working remotely in 2020. I started working remotely in 2018. Before the
Uh-huh.
pandemic, before everything happened, I've worked remotely. I will not go back to working full time in an office. I won't even go to hybrid. I'm remote. Now, if you're in a different state and you want to pay me to come to you, whole different can of worms. Guess what? You could pay to fly me there. Let's go at it. I'll enjoy getting together with a team. We'll have a beer. We'll enjoy ourselves. We'll have a big get together. But as far as my day to day job, I'm not leaving my house. I got too much to
Hello.
offer from my home.
Yes.
And if y'all really want to see it, I mean, it's a little dirty right now, but I got a big ass desk that my wife built. 3 monitors, my own desktop. No, I am not leaving my house to go work somewhere with 1 monitor and a laptop. And, I'm going to give you this. No, because I can stand, I can sit, I can do whatever I need for my own physical health. Fuck you, get bed.
I agree. I agree. I love it. Great minds think alike, because that's my whole thing. Like, I'm going to be at my house until I get exactly what it is that I want, and not have to deal with the foolishness and fuckery, because that's really what it is. It's a lot of it. They expect you to jump through circles, hoops, do all kind of stuff for, a small amount of money, and it's just not worth it, So I totally agree with you in that perspective.
I got a good question here. My boy Sarin AR came through on this one. He came through. There are exceptions, but men tend to have hard skills and women tend to have soft skills. Again, women, being more maternal, tend to have more in touch with their emotions and have the soft skills. They can talk more, they can talk better and write better than men. I'll be honest. I suck at writing. I hate reports. I hate just about all soft skills, but I love talking to people. So, big difference. I do have the ability to talk. Um, what is more valuable for women in cybersecurity? And what about as you go higher up? He says supply chain, I'll say the food chain. As you go higher up in the industry, what's more valuable?
You want me to answer it?
Oh yeah, I want you chime. This is your show, Andrea.
Okay.
You answer
I
it.
tell you, okay. I will tell you this: as far as going up um, in the chain of command, on being in a manager or a higher level, And I was very surprised about this once I read the article. They want you to have a degree. And most people know in today's market that a lot of people are not getting these 4-year or, traditional college degrees anymore. They're really focusing on getting the certifications and making good money. And for me, and of course, I have schooled myself out. I went to school 15 years, got several different degrees, as you all know. But that was a
I've
different
seen
day
all
and
your
different
letters.
time.
You got more letters than me, and I didn't think that was possible.
But for me, again, that was a different day and different time. I don't think you should put those type of parameters on people, saying that they have to have all these different levels of degrees or graduate degrees to be able to perform a job, unless you're doing some type of magical surgery on a patient. That's just my opinion. I think that most managers are still managing from back in the day, and it's a whole new different group of people that are coming into the marketplace now, and we really need to transition to that to meet the needs of those. I don't think that for you to go up higher in cybersecurity that you should have to be forced to have a 4-year degree, or maybe a master's degree, or a graduate degree. I think that that was something that was very essential back in the day.
So what would be more valuable for women in cybersecurity, hard skills or soft skills?
I think you got to have a mixture of both, to be honest. But you got to have balance, and I think that you got to have both.
I love that, because you do. Here's the thing. We push a lot for soft skills and say you could teach the hard skills, right? You could teach the technical. But the reality of it is you need to have the foundations. So you can have all the soft skills in the world, but if you don't have the foundations, if I can't talk to you and you don't understand what port security is, or what ports are, or what the different operating systems are, and at least some of the differences in how they talk and how they can log or whatever, if I can't speak to you on a technical level at all, then there's an issue. I can't hire you, because I'm going to hire you. I'm going to put you in a help desk role and make you learn it. I'm going to force you to learn it in a help desk role. And I think that's the difference. In help desk, I'll put you in a level 1 help desk and assign you a trainer. But in cybersecurity, I can't bring you in with absolutely no technical knowledge. I just can't. It's impossible. You have to have something.
Right.
If you
Now,
can't
do
turn
you
on a
agree
computer,
that you should?
you got a problem.
I agree, but this is my other thing. Do you think that, and the reason why I'm going this route with this question also is because I just don't believe that just because I have degrees and I have the time to go to college, that makes me a better candidate than someone that does not have the degree.
No.
And so I'll talk for
I
that
don't.
person that doesn't have the degree all day, every day, because I think
So I got
everyone
my
has
degree.
something they can contribute.
Right. I got a bachelor's in computer information systems in 2004. Or no. 2004 is when I graduated high school. I got a bachelor's in computer information systems in 2009. Sorry, trying to get ice for my drink. And I do not think a degree makes you any better or worse than anybody else. Here's what I will say a degree gives you. It gives you, if you apply yourself, the ability to learn, or the ability to research, rather.
That
Because you are forced to, in many of the classes that you think don't fucking matter. Yeah, that includes me. I didn't think public speaking or anything would ever matter in my fucking career. It forced me to research, which has helped me with my Google Foo. Which, for anybody who works in cybersecurity or IT or programming or anything else, your Google Foo is what keeps you employed. Don't fucking lie to me. I know it is. If you can't Google Foo, you're not staying employed. Just saying.
I hear you.
And that's the thing, is I think that's what it comes down to. And again, though, and he's right. There are exceptions. Men do tend to stay more technical. Women tend to stay more emotional and be able to
Yeah.
articulate and relate to people. As far as the value for women in cybersecurity, I think it's the fact that everybody can learn the hard skills. As long as you come in with the foundations, everybody with a passion can learn the hard skills and the tech skills.
Yeah.
Those soft skills and being able to empathize and understand the emotions of people are not easily learned, not easily understood. And so it is a lot harder for men to work with the soft skills than it is women. I stand by that. Women all day will
I
make a
agree.
better leader than a man because women as leaders will empathize with their employees, but it also makes them weaker at the same time. Makes
I'll
them
take
better and
that.
weaker simultaneously because in our remote workforce, how are you going to see facial features or facial expressions or determine lies when someone says, "Hey, I need a sick day. I feel like shit," when all you get is an email?
Right.
And so what women have relied on for years, which is that facial features, the way you interact, your mannerisms and everything else, as far as soft skills and interpreting lies and behavior, when you can't decipher that, you're going to start being like, "Oh, I understand. Okay, take the day. You're okay. Take a day off." And then it turns into 2 days and people taking advantage of you. So it comes down to
Yes.
pulling the trigger and being like, "Hey, look, y'all done fucking called off 180 days this year of 365. Your ass is fired. I'm sorry. You're gone."
Right. And literally, they have just really found themselves.
Right. So, but I
So
do. I think
definitely.
I think as far as soft skills go, and again, this just comes down to women being more maternal and being able to empathize. I think that is one of the weaknesses is in a leadership role, trying to empathize too much and not
Yes.
pulling that. Guess what? I'm in charge, bitch. You're here. You called off yesterday for your dad being in the hospital, and now you're calling off for your grandma being in the hospital. Did that really happen in 2 days? Did we really get that 2 days in a row? Like, are you going to ask those questions? Or are you going to be like, "Okay, I understand. Okay, go ahead, take the day. You're okay. My dog got ran over by a car. Okay, you could have the day off." 2 days in a row?
Oh no.
Hold up. Did you get him back and he got ran over again? What happened here? so
And
I
that
do.
really
I think
happens now.
right? Like I'd feel really shitty if that really did happen 2 days in a row.
Oh, it happens.
But at the same time, I'd be like, "Look, homie, how many dogs do you have?" Because if your one dog got ran over and then that same dog got ran over, what the fuck were you doing? You're a shitty dog parent. Get your ass to work. I'm sorry, you're an asshole.
Exactly. I got my vote. Definitely. Do we have another
but
one?
yeah, right. So I do. Let's see. What do we have in here? Work for my old company. Oh, holy shit. So I don't know who GB Orr is. This is actually his first time in chat, or her first time in chat, or whatever. Worked for my old company. I had to deal with dozens of people who called out 150 plus days every year for over 10 years before action was taken. That sounds like a government job. Was that a government job? Because that's really what it sounds like. I mean, Andrew, you
Yeah,
would
they're
know,
on some type of leave. That's what I'm saying.
right?
Like,
Like,
are they on some type of leave, or is this a family member that's doing this? Because even if it's a
like
family member, you're gonna get tired, the bullshit.
I worked for Army Television, and as an active duty soldier, Of course, we had civilians that were technicians or whatever. GS, you give it a fucking number. It is almost impossible to fire someone in a GS position. And I know this because we had people that would show up late every day. Or, you know what? I ain't going to be here today. 3 days out of 5. Like, homie, what the fuck are you doing? And literally in GS positions, it is almost impossible to fire somebody. But yet you go to a regular company. I showed up late. I ain't going to lie. I've been fired from 2 jobs in my life. It was technically 3, but the one didn't count. It was Subway when I was in high school. So that one don't count. She wanted to hire her cousin or nephew or some bullshit. But the one job I got fired from, I was going through issues with my wife. Well, she was my girlfriend at the time. And I quit showing up to work. I showed up whenever the fuck I wanted. It was like noon some days. And finally they pulled the trigger and they were like, hey, we got to let you go. It took 3 days. 3 days is all it took of me showing up late to them being like, homie, you out. All right, see you later. I'm out. I'll go find a new job. But in some government jobs, you show up 3 days late and they're like, oh, we got to write that up. Okay, you've been late 3 days? So look, you really need to show up on time. You really do. You should be here when your hours say you should be here. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, is this real? Am I at a real job?
A little bit more lenient, to be honest.
It gets abused. The GS jobs are they abuse the shit out of systems.
Right. And they're a little bit more lenient, especially with, more people on the government side having certain disabilities and, having other different leads in place too, so. And of course, you wouldn't know that if you're not working directly within HR, or whatever. But I get it. I do understand it.
So bringing this back to women, because that is intriguing to hear. And we do talk about empathy, and I do think women have more empathy than men. I like to think I like to think that I have empathy. I got 5 boys, and I try to understand, especially with my beliefs and things like that. I'm more in tune with nature and feelings, and just kind of woosah, and meditate and understand where you're coming from. But in the way you look at people in their, I would say, mid 40s and higher were raised, and actually even the way I was raised, I was not raised like most millennials. No. At 36 years old, I was raised to drink from the water hose, and fucking you come back when the street lights come on, and we don't care. But when you look at Gen X and above, right, which is who is in management right now, that is who is whatever, they raise their kids to be millennials, which is, we care about your feelings, we talk to us, you're allowed to have feelings, you're allowed to have thought, you're allowed to have emotions, you're allowed to have all this. But when it comes to the workforce, they still stick behind how they were raised, which was, we don't fucking have empathy for you, homie. Look, take a knee, drink water, dust it off, you'll be all right. Suck it up, it'll be okay. So do you think women in management as Gen X or above will still have that same mentality, or do you think they will bring more? Because this is where I think women will do better as security managers, security directors. I think they would do better in leadership, me personally, if they bring that empathy to the table. Do you think they would bring more empathy, or would they hold that same mindset of security first, fuck you, get bent, you need to be here and work?
Oh yeah, of course. We're seeing a total different, mindset, definitely.
But from what age bracket?
With the from where?
From what age bracket?
Say it again.
So, right, what age bracket?
I would say, I'll say like now, like from your 34 to, let's say 40, yeah, 34 to 40 right now. I think that's where we're seeing big that people approach work and how they look at work. They definitely want the flexibility. They don't want to be tied to a desk, and I don't blame them. And that's why I also say that the way that the market is going as far as the requirements for people and certain things. There definitely needs to be a shift in the requirements, because you're not going to get that same level of leadership, because you're not getting people that's going to stay on a job for 20 years anymore. So
Right.
the
That's
mindset
the
is
big thing. That loyalty. But here is, and I'm gonna bring something up. So we got a few minutes till the top of the hour, and y'all know me. It's fucking my show. Get fucking bent. If you don't want to be here, you can fucking leave. I don't care. So the education system was designed to make you an assembly worker, and you work 9 to 5. You have your half-hour lunch. You get your smoke breaks, and everybody would, they blow the whistle, whatever the fuck ever. That's how the education system was designed. It was not designed for critical thinking. It was not designed for independent thought. It was not designed for anything else. So that is why I have a huge issue with the education system. But saying that, I say that because when we get into the workforce, it is all about independent thinking, especially in cybersecurity. In this industry, it is about being able to think independently, being able to react independently, being able to be like, hey, look, boss, I see this, this, and this. This is what's going on. I can take this action. Do you approve or disapprove? If you rely solely on your education, you cannot do that. You will not be able to think like that. Your mind don't work like that. That is why I say hacking is a mindset, not a career field, not a crime, not anything else. Hacking is a mindset, because you have to be able to look at situations and being like, I'm gonna think about this. I'm gonna fix this. This is how I would fix it. This is how I would do things. Boss, can I do this? Am I allowed to do this? Because this is fucked up. But if you think based on how you're taught in education, it's I'm gonna go this point, this point, this point, this point, this point. Okay, we're okay. We're gonna check the box. We're no longer in check the box mindset. In cybersecurity, we got to get out of that check the box mindset. I'm tired of that check the box mindset. Oh, does it frustrate me? Oh, I hate it. Girl, you keep moving. I keep seeing all this different scenery. It's awesome. I love it. But shit.
I'm sorry.
Don't look. My moonshine is. It's only 50%. It's 100 proof. All right. So look, don't do that shit to me. Don't do that. We do have another question here from my boy Sarn AR, but I'll let you get I'll let you get your points in because it's your show. I talk a lot. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No. You're right about the check the box stuff. Yeah, I mean that defeats the purpose. Just to say, just we're going to check the box.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. That's what you see with a lot of, I've seen audits. I have seen inspections where it's, do you have this? Yeah, sure. Okay, check. Like when we look in cybersecurity and things like PCI, do you have a firewall? Yes, check. Is it logging? Yes, check. Did you actually look to see what it's logging? Is it logging? How it's logging? What it's doing? What it's blocking? Did you actually investigate its ACLs? No. Then what the fuck, homie? What are you doing?
Exactly.
And
the box.
So
just check the box.
I absolutely despise, and this is where you look at things like pen test, and people are like, oh, here's our scope. All right, so what about, why did you exclude these IPs? Oh, well, because if you scan those servers, they go down. Homie, I'm gonna let you know the attacker doesn't give a fuck. They don't care. Why are we scoping out and excluding shit for a pen test, for a red team engagement? Oh, because, well, we don't, fuck you, homie. That bugs the shit out of me of when they exclude things from a scope because it may break. Look, I get it. Business enablement, I'm all for it. As far as blue team and monitoring and the restrictions we put in place, all day I will enable the business. But when it comes to a pen test, fuck you. Everything's up for grabs. Send me phishing emails, send me everything. Let's see where I'm fucked. Let's figure it out. And that's where GRC comes into play.
Right.
That is where your GRC says, hey, this is important. This is important. This is important. And your blue team comes in and says, hey, we need to look at this, 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 and this. And then your red team is there, whether it's a third-party company or what have you, that says, hey, look, you're vulnerable to this, this, and this. This person clicked on this email. This person did this. This person did that. Or, hey, we got through on this system and this system. We got domain admin. We got enterprise admin. Like, all of these interconnect. I think that's vital. And when you scope shit out because you're afraid of the business going down, fuck you, get better. I don't even care no more. I don't even care because you're checking the box. I don't even care.
Right.
Now, Andrea, let me ask you a question. Fuck it, we're over the top of the hour. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna stay up late anyways. I'm going to Longhorn Steakhouse tomorrow for me and my wife celebrating Valentine's Day. So I don't fucking care. As far as pen test goes, and your take on that, again, women in cyber, would they show more empathy towards a business, or would you, as an individual, fuck women in cyber as an individual? Do you look at it as, hey, I understand your plight, I understand what you're going for, but we should really test this because of X, Y, and Z?
Definitely. My thing is if I am the pen tester and I'm there to do a job, I'm going to look at everything. I want to make sure that I am giving the top quality service to the customer. You know, that's why they're paying me. And
Right.
you have to have great pen testing skills if you're going to be in cyber. There's no way around it. You know, it may not be something you want to learn, um, but why, you have to have those skills to be in cyber, to be honest, because there's always going to be some vulnerability.
We're gonna keep going because I love this. So let me ask you a question. If you want to be a blue teamer,
Okay.
do you need to know the red team side? Oh, wait.
If I want to be a blue teamer,
Do you need to know the red team side?
if I'm a blue teamer, do I need a red team?
No. If you want to be a blue teamer, do you have to know the red team side?
Oh, I would definitely say it would be helpful to be a purple teamer, to be honest, to be someone that knows the both. I think you have the best of both worlds if you know red and blue.
Okay.
You know,
So, and I'm answering some questions here in chat. Oh shit! I fucking typed a C instead of V. So if you want to be a red teamer, so offensive, for those that don't know, should you know the defensive side and the blue team? For someone that wants to break into shit, should you know how people defend shit?
Yes, I think so. I mean, because in order to, in order for you to defend hackers, you got to think like a hacker.
All right.
So I can't
So
stop.
here's the reason I asked those questions. So when I look at security, I look at it as, and I have always been more of a generalist. I've learned more of the red team. Don't get me wrong, but I'm in Vaughn management. I understand Vaughn and blue. I've done blue team for years. For me, I know both sides of the fence. I understand how tools work. I understand how logs work. I understand all this other shit works. But it makes me better as an individual because I believe in the purple team. I believe in you should know how, if you run an exploit, what logs it should generate. And because you know what logs it should generate, you should be able to talk to the blue team and be like, hey, you should have seen these alerts. Did you see them? No? We need to fix your shit. And we need to fucking figure out what happened. Oh, we got Angie here. Oh, I love her. To be stealthy, you need to know what protections can be in place and how to not be so loud to minimize detection. And she is absolutely correct. You need to know both sides of the fence. You need to know. I'll be honest, I don't have any sponsors. For all those out there, fuck you, find me a sponsor. I need someone to finally fucking pay me. I'm broke. But besides that, CrowdStrike has been the biggest pain in my ass as far as EDR. I'll be honest. All my pen tests I've done, CrowdStrike has been the biggest pain in my ass. Anybody who monitors CrowdStrike has fucked my day up on every pen test and been like, hey, you're stopped. Fuck you. You're done. I'm like, but it's my own box. And they're like, nope, you ran a scanning tool. Nope, you're not allowed. Fuck. All right, I'll quit. Like, and I get the approval. It eventually comes unblocked, whatever. But, so, I say that because I want women, I want everybody to understand. You need to know both sides. You need to know red team, you need to know blue team, you need to know purple team. You need to know GRC. At least at a basic level. I'm not saying go in depth, but at a basic level, understand all aspects of cybersecurity. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Am I wrong?
I agree with that, because you need to be well-rounded, and that's why my response to the question was, in order to catch a hacker, you have to think like a hacker, and you can't do that unless you know both sides.
Correct. I got something here about moonshine. Hold up. I need some of that moonshine if it's making his mood as great as it is. Misha, I love you. Look, my mood is always great. What you talking about? And no, it's not the moonshine. It's the happy pills I took at like 1 o'clock. I took them a little later than usual. But no, y'all know I love you all. All right. So Misha's one of my Norse pagan fam. I love her. She's amazing. She was actually on the show. That's sweet. Shut up, Siri. God, quit listening to me. But no, so for real, I think that knowing the foundations of everything, and I did talk about this, and I'm 10 minutes over. I'm down to 9 fucking watchers, viewers, whatever. Fuck you. Get bent. I don't care. So when you look at it, the foundations of GRC and compliance and blue team and red team. Without GRC, you have no blue team. Let's be honest. You don't. Hell, without GRC, you have no red team. I have seen more women in GRC than men. Do you think that is by the emotional and lack of technical capability, or do you think that is by it's easier to get a job in this?
I personally think, I would say, we think about a woman and compliance. That goes back to the maternal side. It's easy for us to, have that type of control, or, looking for everything to be in place and, to meet those compliance requirements, and I think it comes natural for most women.
Yeah, I agree. I think that aspect is there. I have seen a lot of women who want to be in TRC. And I think that comes back to part of me comes back to the fact that because programming and IT and cyber has been so male dominated, the fear that women have to get in those fields. I don't necessarily think it is because they can't. I think it's a fear that they're afraid to step through that door and break that glass ceiling. Because even the people that I've interviewed, I have not interviewed a single female for the blue team role that I have available in the company I work
for. Okay.
Just saying, again, this comes back to, I put out there cyber's for everybody. I put out there that this is for everyone. But I'm looking for a senior person as far as the company I work for. So, are you coming into it as a junior or a senior? Are you applying because you've been in the field for a while, or because you said I can do this? What are you doing? And I think that's where that comes apart. I think women are not at that senior level of consultant. And the ones that are don't feel like they belong. They don't feel like they should apply. When they should.
There's a possibility. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Are you counting yourself out?
To a certain extent. I think,
me and Wanawa talked about this. Are you counting yourself out and disregarding yourself before you've even given yourself a chance?
I'm sorry. Hello?
All right, I see you and I hear you. Do you hear me?
Okay.
Fuck. Misha, I love you. Have a good night.
A little bit of distortion from where we are located. Hello?
Are you in Florida?
I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're having some distortions.
Oh, that makes sense.
Coming through because I can't hear.
I know the weather, so it's okay. So look, we need to end this. And I know I just asked the question, but we need to end this. So we're at 8:13. We've been on the show for over an hour. Give me some final words, Andrea, for anybody in Women in Cyber. Again, Women in Cyber. Please bring it back around. Give me some final words for all the women in cyber.
For all the women in cyber, for the women that are considering transitioning into cyber, please know that you can do this. Anybody can do this. You have everything within you to be able to do this. If you stick to it, don't give up. I don't care how many failures you have. I've even failed a couple of tests when I first did this 6 years ago. But I'm back in the game. I'm here for the long haul. If I could be assistance to you, there's a great LinkedIn family. Stick with it. We can get through this together. And I just really want to see more people, especially more women in cyber, and definitely girl power all the way.
All right, I would have sang Seth Rollins' song, but you were talking. I couldn't do it, and I can't remember it either way. I'm on my second cup of my moonshine 100 proof, so we're gonna let that slide. But either way, look, Andrea, you have given some valuable insight. And I think that as much as representation matters, so does making a name for yourself. So does coming out there and shutting people up and being like, look, motherfucker, I belong. I belong here. This is my show. Fuck you, get bent. I believe in that.
Yes.
I believe in the fact that we bitch so much about representation. We bitch and complain. Andrea, let me ask you a question before we go off the air. When's the last time you went to any school or showed any representation besides on my show?
I would say 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Yes, I love it. You're my girl. All right, you're my new hero. I love you.
2 weeks ago.
I love you. I love you. That's what I like to hear.
Yes.
Because, so here's what a lot of people don't understand. Your high schools, your colleges, your middle schools, your elementary schools, they want to hear from you. They want to know. So go talk to them. Tell people they belong. Yes. I'll be honest, and I've said this before. Mainstream media, mainstream. I don't give a fuck what movie, what network you watch will not show representation. They will show stereotype. That's what fucking makes money. That is what gives them ad rev. That is what gives them everything. For you, if you want to show representation, go show people you can fucking do it. And I love the fact that you did that. That means more to me, Andrea, personally, than what you'll ever know. The fact that you showed that a black female can go through this and make a living. And I will find a way. I will. Please message me. We've been talking. Message me. We'll talk. I will find a way. I will find a career. I will find a company that will hire you, bring you in. I know people. I look out for those that support me. I support you. We are a family. This is what we do. Family supports each other.
Yes.
And I will always support you. So, do that. Show your representation. Keep going to schools. Keep talking to people. Keep putting your name out there. You belong. I don't care what anybody tells you. And if you ever doubt yourself, if anybody that is watching this ever doubts himself, come talk to me. Come talk to Andrea. Come talk to Wanawa, or I'll say Mrs. Tarver because she'll butcher me if she's still here. Come talk to Javier, GVOR. I don't know who the fuck you are. Sarne R, my resident Hispanic. That's my boy from the Army. Talk to any one of us. You all belong. Otherwise, I got all the ways you can support me down in the description below. You can follow, like, subscribe, comment, all those fun things. I love you all. You're all amazing. You all belong here. And I hope to see you all, especially next time, because I'm here live every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Take care. Have a great Friday day. And I'll see you all next week.